Oh, he shoots and he scores! Oh, hey, I'm Sonali, and today I will tell you how the body systems help Adi and Robin, the soccer player. When Robin runs, he needs oxygen. Thanks to his respiratory system, this is possible. When you breathe, the oxygen goes through your nose, into your nasal cavity, down your pharynx, through your larynx, and down your trachea. Your trachea splits into two tubes called bronchi, and then goes into either one of the lungs. From there, it splits into bronchioles, which split up into tinier tubes. On the ends of the bronchioles, there are alveoli. The alveolus is the last place where the oxygen molecule goes. The respiratory system provides oxygen to each of the different cells and removes carbon dioxide or any other waste products from the cell. The respiratory system is connected to the circulatory system. The oxygen in the alveoli diffuses out and goes into the capillaries, which are still in the lungs. The oxygen goes into the pulmonary vein, down into the left atrium, down into the left ventricle, up into the aorta, and then into the capillary beds. When it reaches the capillaries, the oxygen and the other nutrients in the capillaries go into the cells. The carbon dioxide from the cells come out and go into the capillaries. Now this becomes deoxygenated blood. This deoxygenated blood goes up into the right atrium, down into the right ventricle, up into the pulmonary arteries, and then it goes into the capillaries, which are in the lungs. Then the carbon dioxide diffuses into the alveoli. The carbon dioxide goes out of your body. It goes out the same way the oxygen molecule entered. When the oxygen and the nutrients go into the cells, the mitochondria of the cell takes over and cellular respiration occurs. The carbon dioxide and water and ATP leave the body. Now, you might be wondering what the circulatory system does for your cells. The circulatory system provides oxygen to each and every one of your cells, just like the respiratory system. The circulatory system also makes sure that all waste products leave the organism. The circulatory system is connected to the digestive system. In the digestive system, when the nutrients diffuse through the villi, they reach the capillaries, and then they go into the bloodstream, and then they go into the other capillaries, and then they go into the cells, where cellular respiration occurs. The digestive system makes sure that the food gets broken down and gets turned into nutrients. The digestive system starts in the nasal cavity, where the food enters the mouth. In the mouth, your food gets broken down mechanically. The food is called a bolus. The food goes through the pharynx, then it goes through the epiglottis, where it goes down the esophagus. In the esophagus, peristalsis occurs. Peristalsis helps the food go down the esophagus. It's the contraction of the esophagus. From the esophagus, it enters the stomach. Inside the stomach, the food gets broken down mechanically and chemically. Enzymes and acids break down the food even more so that the food almost becomes a paste. After the food passes through the stomach, it reaches the small intestine. In the small intestine, the most chemical digestion and absorption happens. In the small intestine, the nutrients are absorbed through the villi. After the food has passed through the small intestine, it goes through the large intestine. In the large intestine, water is absorbed from the food, and the remaining nutrients are absorbed. Now the leftover of the bolus is a big chunky thing which goes into the anus and then comes out. The digestive system provides nutrients to our cells. The way it does that is when the nutrients diffuse through the villi, they go into the capillaries. The capillaries transport these nutrients through the blood into the different cells. The digestive system is connected to the skeletal system from the teeth. Teeth are considered a part of the skeletal system, but they aren't counted as bones. The skeletal system is made up of many bones. It does a lot for our whole body like every other system. The skeletal system protects your essential organs, your brain, heart, and lungs. It also gives your body shape and form, and it allows for movement. Bones are made of many layers of connective tissues and minerals produced by living cells. The outer surface of bone is called periosteum. The periosteum is a thin membrane that contains blood vessels to nourish the bone and nerves. Next layer is called compact bone. This bone is the layer of bone that provides most of its strength. Tiny canals within compact bone contain blood vessels. Next is the cancellous bone. Inside compact bone, there are many layers of this. This bone has many open spaces like a sponge. It's still very strong. Next is bone marrow. Bone marrow is a thick jelly-like layer of bone that makes blood cells or stores fat. Red bone marrow produces red blood cells. Yellow bone marrow stores fat. The place where two bones meet is called a joint. Some joints are fixed while others move. Fixed joints are called sutures. Moving joints are the ones which allow you to move. There are 3 different types of joints: hinge joints, ball and socket joints, and sliding joints. Ball and socket joints allow movement. They are located on your hip. Sliding joints allow move bones in your hand to guide over one another and provide flexibility. The place where your bones meet are called ligaments. Ligaments are strong elastic bands of connective tissue. When your bones move, there's friction. Cartilage helps to cushion the areas where bones meet. Your joints have lubricating fluid called synovial fluid. This fluid helps them move freely. What you may be wondering is, what does the skeletal system do for your cells? Well, the skeletal system protects your organs. In the long run, your cells are actually the ones being protected. Your skeletal system also gives your body shape and structure. The skeletal system is connected to the muscular system. How? Here's how. Muscles are connected to your bones and they contract and move the skeleton along. The muscular system consists of skeletal muscles and tendons. Skeletal muscle is made up of skeletal tissue that attaches. A tendon is a strand of tough connective tissue that attaches a skeletal muscle to a bone. The functions of the muscular system are to move bones and to provide support and protection for your organs. There are 2 types of muscle action: voluntary and involuntary. The beating of your heart and movement of your digestive tract are both examples of involuntary muscle action. Lifting a glass from a countertop is an example of voluntary muscle action. Skeletal muscle tissue is made up of thousands of cylindrical muscle fibers, which often run through the entire length of the muscle. Bundles of fibers are bound together by connective tissue. Blood vessels and nerves run through the connective tissue. Muscle fibers have long muscle cells, each with thousands of mitochondria for energy. During a muscle contraction, a complex reaction causes muscle fibers to shorten. When the muscle relaxes, muscle fibers return to their original position. Did you know that muscles work in pairs? The pairs are called flexors and extensors. A flexor is a muscle that bends part of your body. An extensor is a muscle that straightens part of your body. These pairs provide almost all the movement of your skeleton. In order for muscles to stay strong and functional, they need to be exercised. Since you move in your everyday life, this much of exercise is sufficient to maintain your muscle strength. The muscular system does a lot for your cells. It helps move your cells. Since all of an organism's functions occur within its cells, at the end of the day, your cells are the ones which are actually causing the movement. Now you know how the respiratory, circulatory, digestive, skeletal, and muscular system helps Addie and Robin. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned a little more about Robin than just his career.